Hey, this is Mike Yuhaniak, MikeYuhaniak.com. It's your video companion to the December 26th newsletter, Troubleshooting the Rack Pull. What we want to do today, just want to do 3 brief things, give you a couple reasons why. Brief, because this is a how-to, not an informational discussion. I'm going to show you how I teach people to do the movement, and then the common errors. Alright? So the main reason we do this movement is to develop the posterior chain of the body, the muscles of the back. Good for injury prevention, postural correction, maximal strength, performance, and just looking good naked. Alright? So what we're going to do here, as I said, first thing we'll do, go over the setup and show you the common errors of the setup, the common errors of the lowering, and then what people do wrong to really hurt themselves, okay? So the way I like to teach this, as I said, this is the rack pull. I use it as a precursor to the deadlift. The deadlift's one of the best movements you could possibly do, but most people lack the flexibility and the know-how to do it. So I start people off in a power cage here, starting usually about mid-shin height. This one's going to be slightly above mid-shin just so we can see the angles a little better. And basically what we do here, I set it up so that my shins are going to be start in a perpendicular position to the floor, okay? What we do, that's just the starting position. There's no hard and fast rule here, okay? So what we do, you step up to the bar, I start with the shins perpendicular to the floor, and my hands are on my thighs here, my quadriceps, okay? And then what we do, you're going to initiate the movement by pushing your buttocks back. The butt comes back while maintaining a neutral lumbar spine, chest stays up, and I slide the hands down the thighs while the butt goes back slowly, alright? And as I get to about my knees, I'm going to allow my knees to flex forward a little so that I can keep this curve and reach the bar properly, alright? And then from there, this is just the whole movement right here. I come up, boom, lock it out. Then on the way down, I just reverse, push the butt back first so the weight shifts posteriorly, and then just repeat the motion so that the bar travels in a straight line, okay? Now a lot of people's problem starts first in that setup I just showed, and the next thing they mess up, the main thing, is on the way down, okay? So let me just pick it up again. So chest is up, got some air in my stomach, butt goes back, okay? Keeping this lumbar curve here. So I push it back, slight knee flexion if need be, depends on your individual levers. I come up, and then the way down, this is the first main problem, a lot of people squat the weight down. They shift their weight all forward, and it ends up looking like this. And it is just ugly. As someone so aptly put it after I taught them how to do this, they said, wow, deadlifts really don't hurt your back. It's done, when deadlifts are done improperly. And that goes just the same for the rack pull. Rack pull is just a shortened version of it. Allows you to use a little more weight, overload the musculature a little more, perfect your technique before lowering the pins. Okay? So to take care of that problem at lockout, the lowering, once I get up here, just make sure the bar travels in a straight path. Push your butt back and keep those curves. Okay? The weight shifted back. Now, we're doing this on a side angle because I think this is the easiest way to teach the movement and to understand what's going on. You know, if it doesn't look right, it probably isn't. So when I lift up, my hips and my chest have to raise at the same time. The rate of ascent will be the same for both. And the same on the way down. Okay? They rise up together, they descend together. It's in sync. It's a nice synchronous motion. Alright, so what we're going to do here, that's another problem people have. They stiff leg the weight up. So the hips extend before the back gets all the way up. So it looks kind of like this. It's disjointed, alright? It's easy to see from a side angle. You know, so one more time the bad way, it looks like this. The hips come before the chest. Okay, now there are 2 main reasons that happens. It can either be just ignorance, they aren't aware that these angles should be happening at the same time, or they're just weak through the core musculature. Now we can't, you know, miraculously make you stronger just, you know, overnight or watching this video, but just remembering a couple cues and a couple tricks, you can definitely make sure that that rate's the same. First one's going to be lower the weight if you can't actually do it. I just prescribe next. But what you do, you're going to keep those curves, fill your belly with a little air, you know. Most of us breathe incorrectly, you know, our stomach gets smaller. What you should do is when you inhale, your stomach should fill with air, and when you exhale, it should get smaller. What we're going to do here, we're going to, you know, mess with that pattern a little. We're going to have you actually take a little air in, you know, make your stomach a little bigger. And no, I'm not really fat, I'm just pulling air into my belly, okay? So what I do, I pull a little air in there, and I'm going to hold it slightly, not excess, I'm still breathing fairly normally, just holding a little air there. And then that should help you keep this chest up. All right, that's one of the main cues I use. I tell people to keep their chest up so we can maintain these curves. Chest up just means pull your shoulders back, get your chest up, and get some air in your belly, okay? And that usually takes care of that, helping you keep that 80% the same, okay? One of the other problems people have is the lockout position itself. The top is called the lockout, when you lock your joints out here. Now a lot of people, when they do this at the top, they don't get proper posterior pelvic tilt. Let me show you, it's easier to show, that's why we're doing the video. All right, so what we do, you stand up, this is what a bad one looks like. See, if you look at my belt line, my butt's way far back, and my hips are tilted forward. This is called anterior pelvic tilt. And even though they're standing up straight, they haven't fully pulled their hips through. Their hips haven't come posterior, the posterior pelvic tilt. Okay, so what you'll see, one of two things. You'll either see what we just showed, where they're standing up and their butt's way back, it's not a full lockout, or you'll see the other common one, people come up and then they haven't done that, they lean back, I'm extended. Both ways, you're just gonna hurt your back. All right, so when you get to the top, you gotta make sure you clench the buttocks. Glutes if you wanna be technical, but you just come up tall and you really pop through so that you're tall as can be and you're popping through with the buttocks. All right, I'm not gonna get vulgar here because I don't know who's watching this, but you wanna really make sure you pop through and get that full extension. All right, so one more time, a good one. You come up tall and really bring your butt through there. All right, good. One of the other problems people have is their elbows, they don't keep them fully straight. You gotta remember your arms are just giant levers here, okay? They shouldn't bend. You shouldn't be lifting with your elbows slightly bent. I'm not even gonna demonstrate that one because it's just gonna end up hurting me. And well, that would be a funnier video, but I really don't wanna do that. So just remember, keep the elbows totally straight here and don't let them unbend the whole time. You'll see a lot of people do this. Their arms here, they start like this and then straighten as they go. And that's just asking for elbow injuries, okay? This is actually supposed to be healthy, not supposed to hurt people. All right? And one more thing you want to look for, a lot of people create what's called a spinal hinge, where they don't create the move there. When I do this movement, I want my body to be like a big door hinge. These are my hips, okay? I'm essentially creating my hinge right here. This is, the two ends of the door handle here. They're popping together. They go back together, they close together. A lot of people create their movement from the lower back, okay? And that's just asking for trouble too. So really, that's why I start so high here. So people can maintain this perfectly neutral curve here and don't create movement down there. When we start getting really heavy, you might actually see a little movement in the back. But the good lifters, what you'll see, it's actually all from here upwards in the thoracic spine. If they're gonna bend because the weight's so heavy, they're not bending in the lower back, it's gonna be a little bend right there. You wanna avoid that, but when you're working with heavy weights, it's not always possible. Okay, one thing you wanna remember here is that this is just this can be used as a standalone movement, but the main point is we wanna get the progression so that we increase the flexibility in the hips and the hamstrings. So right here, we're at the second pin in this power rack here. Like I said, slightly above mid-shin on me. All right, what we're gonna do, we're gonna try and progress that down over, depending on how old the person is, all kinds of characteristics. We're gonna progress it down to the next one pin, which will be slightly below the mid-shin line, and then all the way to the floor. When you have proper flexibility to do all that, it's doubtful you'll have any back or hip problems at all, okay? So what we'll do, let me give you a quick recap, show you the form. You don't have to go as quickly as I go. I've just done this a lot of times, okay? So just remember that. I don't want you to start quickly. I want you to focus on form. Make sure your angles are proper. Okay, so remember, quick cue. We start with the shin straight. We come down, neutral curve. Chest is up. Remember, hips and chest rise together. Boom. Butt back. Boom. All right, one more time without me talking so you just enjoy the movement from the angle like I like to do. Back. All right, keep the angles right, get your posture straight. Don't be doing this right now, you're not competitive powerlifters. Everything's straight, all right? A couple more good ones. Boom. Boom. All right, now, if you have any more questions, feel free to email me, my@mike.yuhaniak.com.